Why do we go to theatre? Is it for entertainment, sheer intellectual pleasure, just to show off, or maybe to try out some new clothes or meet friends? No matter the reason, there's one thing we all have in common when going to the theatre: the preparation. We need to pick a nice dress or a suit, wear makeup, choose jewelry and shoes, all because we somehow know that theatre is something uncommon, and we know that it isn't somehow right to treat an evening in the theatre like it was on a daily basis. My adventure with theatre started when I was 15, during the summer between my second and third year of gymnasium. Once your life has changed, it is very hard to recall what was it like before. And when I was asked this question during the interview for this TED, I was hardly able to answer it properly. And only after a few weeks of preparing for this speech, I'm able to say that I was very shy. I was just like a little turtle in his shell. And really, I wasn't even able to come up to a shop assistant to ask him about something that I needed. I would just leave the shop telling myself I didn't find what I was looking for because it wasn't there. And when any of them would come up to me and ask me, "Do you need something?" I would just turn my eyes away and murmur something under my breath and escape as quickly as possible. And asking a stranger for directions was never an option for me. The first theatrical classes I attended were a kind of a studio for children in Ochota Theatre. What I learned there were real basics, elements of dance, singing, diction, all the elementary. But then came something which really changed my life: improvisation. Theatre improvisation is a specific genre of theatre. The performance is being made up in the very moment of playing it without any previous preparation or script. And while doing improv, you can't hesitate. You have to think and act almost instantly. And what improvisation taught me is that there is no place for being shy if you want to succeed on stage. Even if your idea is stupid, it doesn't matter. You just do, because doing is far more interesting than nothing. And actually, the sillier the performance gets, the audience laughs even more. I learned how to engage the audience while doing improv. And you can't do this by just standing on stage and wondering if your idea is good, or if you should do it, or if you shouldn't, because the audience will boo, and that will be as far as you'll get. I learned to invent situations, to propose scenes quickly, and not to be afraid of my ideas being surely not interesting. There was just no room for failure. And if your idea didn't work out, you immediately started with another one, and another, and another. And when I came out of my improv classes, I felt like I was the most creative, spontaneous person that has ever walked the earth, full of ready-to-use ideas in my head. And I was not afraid of trying and failing and trying again. And for a shy 15-year-old girl, that was an enormous leap forward. It gave me courage and a little bit of positive self-esteem. And I believe that this experience has opened me to the surrounding world, because finally I was able to confront it, because I didn't have the feeling that I'm helpless in different situations, but I knew that I am always able to think of something. And that was me, aged 15. Now I'm nearly 18. And during these 3 years, I had various experiences with working in theatre. But what I want to share with you the most is how enriching is the experience when it comes to understanding human nature. Most people think theatre is about learning lines, putting on a costume, and then somehow acting it out. but making a performance which people would engage in, which people would believe in, laugh and cry with, is a process that's incomparably complicated. And to achieve this, the actors and directors do something we don't do every day. That is, they try to understand people on the level of their feelings. To make something believable on stage, an actor must combine what he does, why and how he does something, into a truth. And this truth is an emotional truth. An actor should never do any more or less that he has within him in, in terms of emotions, because otherwise he would tell a lie by just playing and pretending to have the feeling inside but not having it outside. And it's actually quite funny because we commonly use the verb play to describe what actors do. But when I would practice a poem or prose, and I wasn't very convincing, my teachers would say, stop playing, just feel it. Because if you don't feel the emotion and just pretend to have it, then you tell a lie, and the audience doesn't believe in such actors' lies. Therefore, a great effort is made to find the feelings and emotions appropriate for a certain text or situation. This search for truth in human behavior allows me to escape the routine of my everyday life. Because in our everyday lives, we scarcely want to share emotions with others. We rather consider them as private and have a tendency to keep them inside. But for me, taking them out of the inside and talking about them and working with them allows to understand these emotions better, which is better generally. But it is also a unique opportunity to test yourself. For example, how strong an impulse do I need to cry? Or what do I do and feel when I dance cha-cha, and is it different to when I dance a waltz? How does my body behave when I have a secret that I can't tell anybody, and how when I'm sleepy? But most of all, how do I behave when interacting with different people in different situations? And through analysis of such things, I gained an enormous awareness of my emotions, of my body reactions, of my advantages as well, but also of my limitations and barriers. And this is the kind of exceptional knowledge that you won't be able to obtain from anybody else but yourself. And I believe that knowing and understanding yourself is a key to confronting the surrounding world. Because if you don't understand yourself, you can hardly make sense of the things that concern you, of your own choices, of your relations with other people. And knowing such things, for me, allowed me to overcome some of the barriers and limitations that I discovered. And one of them was performing in front of a large crowd. And a few years ago, if somebody would only mention to me that I would have to make a speech or tell a group of people something, my legs would just start to shake automatically. And even today, I'm standing in front of an audience of a few hundred people and I'm speaking and I'm quite comfortable. So I've conquered this fear. And this search for truth is so unique, and is so unique in a theatre, like in a global scale. But it is not only the only thing which theatre gives, because theatre is also able to give something far more. It is able to give freedom. How many times did any of you think, how wonderful would it be to become somebody else, even for a day or an hour? It is possible in a theatre to become anyone without any consequences, apart maybe from bad reviews. But in theatre, an actor for a few hours forgets about his everyday worries and becomes the king of the fairies, a madly in love Romeo, or seeking vengeance Othello, or basically anyone. On stage, you can become a tyrant, a murderer, you can die, despise, or betray, and do everything that would be regarded as improper or insane in normal life, or what is as far from your way of living as possible. It is a freedom which enables to become somebody else for a short period of time. And this is what makes theatre so unique, because this is the only place in the world when you can shift your identity so quickly and so easily. Today, I wanted you to take a look with me at the other side of the curtain. Behind a performance lies a very complicated process of finding appropriate emotions needed for a performance in texts and situations. And this process enables an actor to discover himself and to try very different versions of himself. And making a performance is just like creating an alternative reality, alternative world in which the audience is able to sink in for a few hours. An actor is able to become a different version of him also. And this is almost like some physical theory in which a different reality is created for a few hours, which is so complete and which is able to, which enables the audience and the actors to just sink in it for a few hours and then just jump out of it and everything would be normal again. And this is what makes theatre extraordinary. And this is why I perceive it as one of the most enriching experiences of my life. Thank you.